Sorry about that. Someone came in. Trying to think, where was I? Rudy. It was a blockbuster pickup. Again, it takes place in South Bend, Indiana. Film stars Sean Astin, Ned Beatty, Charles S. Dutton, and of course the filmmakers themselves, David Anspaugh and Angelo Puzo, are from Indiana originally, and they also did Hoosiers, if that rings any bells. Of course it should. But Rudy on Blu-ray. Haven't really got around to watching it on Blu-ray yet, so I may pop that in a little bit later tonight. Let me readjust my microphone here. Next up, in terms of DVDs, I do have, this is for anybody who, if you have the I Am Legend movie, I challenge you to pick up the 1970s version starring Charlton Heston called The Omega Man, based on the same short story. The only difference is Will Smith in I Am Legend is battling excuse me, he's battling monsters and more like carnivorous vampire-like creatures, more like zombies or something like that. In Omega Man, he's battling mutants, basically the same thing. There's a plague that's wiped out mankind, and Charlton Heston as Robert Neville is immune to it, and he's trying to find the cure. And of course, I challenge you to check out this film. It is flawed, but it's entertaining. Next film, called House. And by the way, I did pick up Omega Man and House up at Blockbuster in Muncie. Kind of I call this Christian horror film because the movie's about this couple. They're traveling along the road. They get lost, and they end up in this kind of a bed and breakfast like place. But it turns out the house is run by the devil, possessed by the devil, and there are a bunch of other people in it that are Satan worshippers, and of course the ordinary people are trying to get out. And of course, similar to like a typical horror movie, there is a killer, called the Tin Man, and he makes a promise with them, like, if you give me one dead body, the rest of you will live. And check it out. It's got Michael Madsen and Bill Moseley in it. The film is a Christian film, even though it is rated R for its violence and terror. It's written by Frank Peretti and Ted Decker, if you're familiar with their work. And they always like telling stories like that to inform you that there's a good side and there's a bad side, and that there's a war going on, and we cannot see this war always. Next up, another blockbuster Blu-ray pickup, Gone in 60 Seconds, Nicolas Cage. It's average transfer wise. And of course, everyone knows. Excuse me. Everyone knows Gone 60 Seconds. It's about Nicolas Cage. His brother gets into some trouble and while stealing cars, and so Nicolas Cage, who's retired from that lifestyle, he basically says he makes a deal where he plans to steal 50 cars in 24 hours in order to save his brother's life. Next up, G.I. Joe, The Rise of the Cobra. And this is an okay movie. Mainly they brought this out because of Transformers, and Transformers and G.I. Joe were two big 80s cartoon franchises and comic book franchises, and they said, well, since Transformers got a movie, let G.I. Joe get a movie, and it's okay action movie. Next up, Fantasia and Fantasia 2000. Picked this up at Walmart. This is not a real cheap title. This is about a $32 title, but look what you get with it. You get 4 discs in this sucker. It's got the original Fantasia along with the DVD version, and you get both Blu-ray and DVD copies of Fantasia 2000, which was the 2000 reissue that went to IMAX theaters and standard theaters. And there's all kinds of stuff on here about both films. Well, just overall Fantasia, because Fantasia was... See, this... Now, don't kid yourselves, this is not a kid's film by any means. This is an art film. Animation is an art. And so this is an art film. That's why, if a typical kid would watch this, they're going to be bored to tears by this film. And so, yeah, it's an art film. And this was Walt Disney's, probably one of Walt Disney's most favored movies, because he designed it to be a work in progress. He meant it to not be finished. And of course, he wanted to always reissue that with additional material, scenes taken out. And that was the purpose of them doing Fantasia 2000 in 2000. But moving right along because of time. I've been renting this for a while. I ended up paying full price for it because I still think it's overpriced regardless of what it is. It's Cars. $30 for this, and there's not a whole lot on it. I tried to pick this up at Blockbuster Marion. They wanted, probably should have, but it was like $16.99. This was $30, and come on, this one was way overpriced. It's a good movie though. I like this movie, but I just feel it's way overpriced. Next up, now I picked this up because this was the first movie I ever saw in a movie theater. It's Walt Disney's Bambi. Of course, it's the Blu-ray and DVD edition. Looks really good. Of course, these Disney movies, I've yet to see Disney do something wrong on Blu-ray with the Walt Disney titles. They do a masterful job. There's an excellent, I don't know what you call it, but there's kind of a commentary-like thing that as you're watching the movie, of course, one thing that was famous about Walt Disney that people may not know about was when he would go to make a movie, he would have what's called these sweatbox sessions. And no one knew what was in those sweatbox sessions because it was private. Now, what the sweatbox was, it was a theater, no air conditioning, and they basically sweated out all their ideas, and it got pretty hot in there. And however, during those sweatbox sessions and story sessions, he would have like in the court, typing documents, lady in there taking documents, and it was in script form, and basically what you have on here is a complete reenactment of what they were saying, because everything was documented on paper. Was typed out, and you hear several sessions of that reenacted by actors, of course, using the director's commentary. Also, they have some seamless branching features as you're watching the movie, like that go into further detail about some things. Like, say, it would be, example, this was where the famous multi-plane camera was moved. This is one of the first movies that used that. And they go into a little bit more detail on that, if you using seamless branching, what that really did. Last one here is a DVD pickup. My brother found this, actually, but I wouldn't actually bought it, because I do have the first Bad News Bears original movie. I was able to find an official sequel, the official DVD copy of the sequel, Breaking Training. I know there's another sequel where they go to Japan. Haven't found that one yet. So it was $8 at a local department store here in town. Of course, this one isn't as good as the original, but hey, I thought I should get an official copy, because the other copy I burned off of YouTube because someone pirated it. But let's see, there is some good out of that pirating, that it does enforce you to get an official copy of the movie. And you know, of course, I don't think this will ever come out on Blu-ray. If it will, it'll probably be all three movies in one big setting. But that's it. That's my DVD and Blu-ray update for this month of April. And I will catch you next time. Hopefully I'm better. And there goes my Blu-ray long gone. See ya.